All right, Mark. So first off, just tell us kind of the mission for your visit here in Fort Wayne and kind of what you are looking to see out of these young Tin Caps arms.
Well, I mean, basically I travel around all our minor leagues, so I'm here, 2, 3 times a year as it is, and just kind of basically checking in on their progress, see how they're doing, seeing the things, are they working on the things that we've kind of laid out for them, with the coaches and the rest of the player development staff, seeing how they're progressing. Obviously through the course of the year, personnel changes, so we're seeing right now the Thompsons and Lawson and Bolanos guys who haven't, been down and extended, and now they're here, so it's a chance for me to come out and see them pitch and real environment, stadium versus the extended complex baseball. But obviously see Logan, who's had a great year, first half, and see kind of where he's at and how his progress is on the things that we've laid out for him with his delivery and pitch selection and stuff like that.
You've now been with the Padres for 4 years. This is your third year as the minor league pitching coordinator. So what has changed in that time that's allowed you to be, I don't know, a better evaluator of talent, or where have you kind of improved in what you do now to get to the point where you are?
I think first and foremost is just games. More games, the more games you see, the more things you see, talking to more people, being around it. I think as a player, you're it's a lot of self-driven. You're worried about, what do you have to do to help the team. In this position or any coaching position or player development position, it's, how do we put everything together to make the organization better. So I think just the more games, the more I've been able to see what might work, what doesn't work, maybe try some things and see how they work. It's a lot of just kind of tinkering and tweaking and adjusting, and just basically trying to watch like what plays, what doesn't play, what do we need to improve on with guys. And I think now that I've gotten 3 years under my belt, like you have a little bit more of a timeline, with certain players as well as kind of the organization of where we're going with our pitching.
How much do you draw on your days as a player?
I mean, you draw a lot. I mean, you draw, on how you feel, trying to make sure that you remember what it was like to be on bus rides, to pitch on the same day. The long season, the grinds of long seasons, rain delays. I mean, there's a lot of different experiences that you draw on that hopefully you can help with guys. But ultimately, the biggest thing that's going to help these players is being in between the lines and experiencing things for themselves. But anything that I think that we can, speed up, help them make adjustments quicker based on what we've done maybe in the past, or not myself, or or all the other pitching coaches, or all the other coaches in general. I kind of tell these guys from the get-go, I've experienced a lot, from being hurt all the way to the big leagues and a lot of things in between. But that doesn't mean I'm going to experience the same thing that somebody might go through. But more than likely, there's somebody who's had that experience that might be able to relate and try to help navigate and help guide these players through those events.
How would Mark Pryor, the minor league pitching coordinator, handle Mark Pryor, the second pick in the draft back in the day?
Probably the same way that I handle, guys like Eric Lauer, Logan Allen, Quantrill. I mean, they're basically all the same guy to me. As soon as we get them, they're all, yes, I'm very aware of, maybe what they've done in the game at the amateur level and kind of where they got drafted. But ultimately, our goal is to put them in positions to succeed. Put them in positions that, will further their careers, and hopefully, at the end of their career, they look back and it was a positive experience. Because, everybody's baseball career, whether it's 2 months or it's 20 years, it's a short time in the grander scheme of your life. And so I think for me, I'm looking to try to put guys in a position to have success on and off the field, and put them in a position to where they feel like they can go out every single day and get themselves better, and try to impart some sort of knowledge that helps them. But ultimately, again, it's upon the players to make decisions, hopefully make right decisions, and keep pushing themselves to get better every single day.
Most baseball fans identify you as a former Cub, so what was it like when you saw the Cubs win the World Series?
Oh, it was fun. It was a blast to go back. I went back for the games 3, 4, and 5 in Wrigley. I hadn't been back to actually watch a game probably since I played there, so it'd been almost 10 years. And it was just fun. It was a great atmosphere. Being back in Wrigley, being on the field, seeing it was kind of weird, like, being there but not necessarily playing, so there was some surreal kind of moments of it. But it was a lot of fun, and happy for the organization. I think they did things. Every organization that wins, you always want to say they do things the right way, but obviously they put their time and effort into it, rebuilding it from within. Made some great decisions on some drafts and some trades, and they really played well as a team. And it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that they were able to finally get it off. Kind of check that off the box, but I have a feeling they're going to be in the running for the next few years with the team that they have and the personnel that they have coming as well.
You still stay in touch with Kerry Wood?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we talk here and there. He's busy with his family in Chicago, and obviously I'm busy, but yeah, we definitely stay in touch and see each other when we can.
How do you like the transition from being the pitcher to showing other pitchers how?
It's been fun. It's fun to go out there and watch guys and work with guys and to see, if they're able to put into the games or put into practice things that you've talked about. And again, I think it's our whole staff. We don't have a lot of egos. I think ultimately our goal is to try to get these guys better. And when we see, a guy like Lamet who was here 2 years ago, and we realize that, pretty much every one of our pitching coaches and everyone in our player development touched or had something to do with Lamet's, development. Whether Bert Hooten was here with him all year, to Glendon Rush, to JJ and AA and Bronze. There's a lot of guys, and that gives you a little bit of, a good feeling, when he makes it to the big leagues. A guy that, kind of came out of nowhere, was a kind of a late sign guy. But everybody had something to do with it. I think this is why we do it. It's a lot of fun to see these guys, and it's fun to be around the game. Being able to stay active and stay closely involved and be on the field and be in uniform. The game's provided me a lot in my life for me and my family, and so whatever I can do to give back, it's been great.
Mark, going off of that, when you first took over as pitching coordinator, you had said that you were just trying to take everything as it came, as a new experience.
Right.
3 years in, has that changed at all? Have you developed a more specific plan for what you want to do with this part of your baseball career?
You mean as a coordinator, or as just my overall career?
Or just overall?
No, I'm still in the position, or kind of take the philosophy, whatever comes. Right now I'm very, I'm in this, very fully invested in this part of it. I really want our pitchers to do well. We have a lot of talent that's come into the system in the last year and a half, and I feel like we have a pretty big responsibility of trying to keep promoting this talent up through our system and hopefully help our big league team. As things come, later on down the line, year, 2 years, I'll take those opportunities. Hopefully, if they come, when they come. I'm not looking ahead more than tonight's start. Honestly, I don't look too much farther ahead than, don't look farther ahead in my personal career. I look farther ahead on where do I want Mason Thompson to be in 2019? Where do I want Logan Allen to be in 2019? When we start looking ahead, those are the things I'm looking ahead. For me, I'm enjoying the time that I'm here and trying to get these guys better. I really am. I know it's very cliche, but I do. I really take it day by day because every day is different for me. I wake up every single day and things change. Moves change based on the big leagues, based on health, based on weather. No day is the same for me when it comes to the baseball, and that's what's fun, and that's what gives you a little bit of the adrenaline rush that you miss as a player.
As a guy who's in charge of these young arms, you mentioned promoting young arms and developing them. The way that pitch count has changed and the way the approach to young arms has changed, are you more cognizant of that than you were as a player, or how is your experience as a player with higher pitch counts as a young starter in the majors? Has that changed anything that you do, or an approach that for you is different than it is for a lot of guys?
Yeah, I think of the game in general, everybody's very, very aware of pitch counts. I think when I was coming up, I don't even remember talking about pitch counts, and that wasn't that long ago. We're talking 15 years ago. Probably I had something to do with pitch counts maybe, but I never really thought about them. I went out there and I tried to pitch as far deep into a game as I possibly could. Definitely now I think there's more attention on every player, not just the select few. I think just obviously the media and the avenues and whether people communicate is grown, so there's much more like what's going on in the minor leagues than there was probably in the early 2000s. So people pay attention to a lot more of those things. Obviously the money's changed, that always brings more attention to things. But all those things being said, unfortunately I don't think we're at any closer now than we were 15 years ago on why guys might be getting hurt. Now pitch counts from our standpoint, the way I kind of look at it is you kind of obviously want to look at where guys are in their life in general. Are we still talking about 18, 19, 20-year-olds, Lawson Thompsons, even Austin Smith, Logan Allen, or are we talking about the 23, 24-year-olds who have been in college? I think they're at just a different maturation process. Everybody's at a little bit different speed, so you're not going to treat. I'm not going to treat Mason and Reggie probably the same that I'm going to teach Eric Lauer, coming out of Kent State, who's already had 3 or 4 years of doing what these guys are doing here. But I think as an organization, we want to push guys in a controlled manner, build them up. But ultimately, yeah, we want guys when they get to the big leagues to be able to handle, 5, 6, 7 innings. And I know the standard now is 180 innings. But I think for us as an organization to be good is, can we get some of these guys, to kind of get back into sustaining maybe those 200-inning club, and that's a big challenge. Whether or not we can do that, I'm confident that we can, but we're not going to know that for another 5-10 years.
Dusty Baker received a lot of criticism for those pitch counts. Do you feel like some of that criticism was justified, or how do you approach it now that you're kind of on the other side?
No, I mean, look, I'm very on the record, with Dusty that. I loved playing for Dusty, and I really enjoyed it. Obviously, we went to the playoffs, and we were, right there knocking on the door of the World Series, and Dusty got hired, to manage games within that season. And by no means was I ever telling him that I need to come out of games. So I don't sit there and look back and ever second guess or even regret what was going on. I went out there to try to win every ball game I could, no matter how long it took me to do it. So. Whether that had anything to do with my injuries, maybe it had a small part to do with it, but there were so many other different factors that could, probably could have been the part of the reason. But I would always just say, as I go back, I had a wonderful career. Maybe it was shorter than what I would have liked, but any day, you're an all-star and you're pitching in chance to pitch in Wrigley Field. If you would have asked me that when I was 5 years old, I'm pretty sure I would have probably taken that. So, it was a blast to play for Dusty. He was a great guy to play for and a good manager.
One workout question: How do you get the calves, man? That's the big question. Because seeing you pitch on TV, it's like boom, they pop out, man.
Just genetics. Talk to my dad.
That's pretty good genetics then.
Yeah. So no, I didn't do anything. They're just kind of there.
No calf raises or anything like that. A lot of squats, no lifting.
Nope.
Good for you.
Yeah.